Hello everyone and welcome back to the Bundesliga prediction show. Back here for Matchday 26 of the Bundesliga. Obviously, this show is brought to you by Over the Bar, obviously YouTube channel. If you guys haven't seen the show before or the channel, please do subscribe, click the big red button and click that bell icon so you don't miss out on the show. There's usually at least 3 shows coming out every week now. We've got lots more bonus content coming out. Me and Mark are working on some things for the next few weeks, even during the international break. So please do keep your eyes peeled and, of course, take part in the prediction show. Bang in your comments into the comment section and see how you get along. So yeah, back to business. Just looking back at Matchday 25's prediction. So Mark versus Rory. Probably to no surprise to everyone that watched last week, where me and Mark pretty much matched each other game for game. So it has ended in a draw. So I think the point worked out that we drew in the end. So it stays on scores on the doors at 12-7 to me. So it's all right for me, but Mark's is another week down. Unfortunately, hasn't made up any ground just yet. Yeah, so you are running out of time for sure. And looking back at our commenters on last week's prediction show, well done to Over the Bar's very own David Pearson from the League One show. Did a very impressive effort this week and got 7 points on our little scoring system, which was pretty decent work considering there were a few good upsets. So yeah, he did the best out of everyone. So not only does he have League One knowledge, but he's doing well in the Bundesliga as well. So yeah, well done, David. Look forward to your effort this week. So yeah, we'll just crack on as per usual. So starting off on the Friday evening game, we've got a big game for both teams as Arminia Bielefeld host title chasing RB Leipzig. Again, will be an interesting game, especially given the result that Arminia were able to pick up weekend just gone. But I still expect a fresh RB to be able to see off the new Bundesliga sides, or not so new at the moment. But I'm saying 3-1 to the away side now that RB have got, no Champions League to kind of worry themselves with. They can go full guns blazing now and be able to pick a fresh squad every weekend as well. So yeah, 3-1 for me.
Yeah, I think this could be a little bit harder given the pressure that's particularly on Leipzig. I mean, they have to win this game now, obviously after dropping points against Frankfurt. I mean, this is a chance to cut that lead back to a point as well ahead of Bayern's game. So this is the timing has come well, the Friday night game, to put the pressure on ahead of the Saturday. But I mean, as we say, this is a different looking Bielefeld side now that are probably going to start attacking more. So we'll have to see. But I'm still going to go for a 2-0 Leipzig win. I think generally against this caliber of opposition, I think they had one slip up this year against Mainz away from home. But in general, they've been pretty comfortable against this caliber of side. And I'm going to go for a pretty comfortable 2-0 away win for RB Leipzig there.
Yeah, very good. Then moving on to Saturday afternoon kickoffs. First game that we have is Frankfurt hosting Union Berlin. So both teams chasing European football, maybe slightly different levels of European football. So yeah, very big game for both sides. Certainly a bit more pressure on Frankfurt as they feel the heat of Dortmund kind of chasing them down for the fourth Champions League spot. But I think they'll be able to react well and back up what was a decent draw against RB Leipzig, all things considered. So 2-1 to the home side for me.
Yeah, I think this is a bigger game than what people would think because obviously the hosts, Frankfurt, are now 3 games without a win, although they did get a kind of morale-boosting draw in Leipzig in the last time out. But I think if should Union manage to get a surprise win here, they're only going to be like 4 or 5 points behind the Champions League places, which is incredible, really. I mean, obviously, it's still a big ask for them to get there. They will just be aiming for, first of all, a top half finish and then the potential of Europa League as well. But yeah, I mean, this is a big game. But I just think that Frankfurt Frankfurt, I think the last two performances have been nothing wrong. They just haven't been able to get the win. They've missed chances in both of those games to get the win. And I can see them getting a relatively comfortable 3-1 win here. I expect the goals to start flowing a little bit for the hosts again this game.
Very good. And we've also got an afternoon kickoff for a Sud derby. So that's obviously very exciting. Obviously between Bayern Munich and Stuttgart. Obviously we've done a bit of research on the Sud derby. Obviously, if you can check out that video that should be coming out very, very soon on the history of the Sud derby. So obviously very timely that video will be coming out. So check that out as me and Mark talk about it a bit more. Obviously in recent past, and obviously as the way the teams are right now, you'd expect the home side Bayern Munich to be victorious. But I think Stuttgart will enjoy this sort of game with no expectations on them, away from home as well, which they tend to do better at. So I do think there'll be goals in it. So I'm saying 3-2, but 3-2 to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I also predict goals in this game without doubt. I think obviously Bayern, they're really, really struggling to keep clean sheets. I can't even remember the last time they got a clean sheet, to be honest with you. Obviously, they were close against Werder Bremen on Saturday, but still ended up conceding the goal late on. But yeah, I think Stuttgart, I mean, obviously they've hit the form of the early season as well. Let's give them, I mean, they've picked up 10 points in the last 4 games. So, I mean, after a bit of a blip mid-season, they've really kicked back now and are looking again at European places. So the carrot is there for Stuttgart as well. I don't think it's impossible that Stuttgart could get something out of this, to be honest. But I just think Bayern's attack is just that attack, isn't it? They just create so many chances. And I'm going to go 4-2 for Bayern. I definitely think this is a game where you've got to predict goals in this Sud derby without doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. And another game that has implications, again, at both ends of the table. This is what's so brilliant when we come into the tail end of the season. Every game has got something on it, which is perfect. It makes every game really competitive. So FC Cologne are hosting Champions League chasing Borussia Dortmund, which again promises to be a very interesting game. Obviously, Cologne sprung a surprise on Dortmund in Dortmund last time out. So it'd be interesting if they've got any reservations about that and maybe play a certain way to attack the Champions League chasing side. It will be a tight game, I think, especially for Dortmund on the road, but I'm backing them just to do it 2-1 away from home.
Yeah, I think the key to this point is that I remember when Cologne travelled to the Westfalenstadion, when Cologne went there, Dortmund were really, really in a bad place at that point. Like I remember that was around, I think it was a few games before Favre got sacked. I think it was the home game before they got battered by Stuttgart, which ended up being the final straw for Favre. Yeah, I think and also Cologne, they've just not built on some of those performances just before Christmas as well for me. And I think they are on a bit of a sticky run at the moment. So it's hard to see anything other than a Dortmund win at the minute. But I agree that it could be close. I think it's not going to be a really one-sided game. So I've also gone for 2-1 to the away side, Borussia Dortmund in this one.
Yep, very good. And the last afternoon kickoff is between Werder Bremen and VfL Wolfsburg. So again, Werder have been playing some good football of late in the last 3 to 4 games. So I expect this to be a closer game than it might have been when Werder were certainly out of form. Wolfsburg just have that at the moment, that nous and that grit to them, where they're not conceding many goals and they're just getting the job done. Of course, enjoyed themselves the weekend just gone against basically already relegated Schalke. So again, it's going to be a close game, but I'm just going to back the Champions League chasing side 2-1 away from home again.
Yeah, I think this is a hard one to predict because while I think that Wolfsburg have pretty much not put a foot wrong, obviously they did lose to Hoffenheim a couple of weeks ago, but that was just more a case of Hoffenheim being good rather than Wolfsburg being bad. I think, yeah, it's been a fantastic run for them, only 3 defeats all season. But I just think that Werder Bremen, despite the fans not being in the stadium at home, they can be tricky to beat for some of the top teams, you know. It's, I mean, Bayern did find a way past, but it wasn't like, you know what I mean? They did cause them a few problems and obviously getting the consolation at the end. I'm actually going to go for a 1-1 draw here. I've got a funny feeling that this one might be trickier than Wolfsburg think. I mean, it's a kind of game that I think if Wolfsburg win, then it's going to be looking very, very hard to stop them. You know, we're coming in, there's only going to be 8 games left after this fixture. And they're very, very strong at home. They don't lose many at home. In fact, I think they're unbeaten at home this season, so they're not going to lose many home games. This is the kind of game that's going to push them now towards that final finishing line. And I think it could be a bit too much for them to get the win. So I've gone for a 1-1 draw here, actually, between Werder and Wolfsburg.
Yeah, very good. Moving on to our evening or late afternoon kickoff on the Saturday. It's Schalke versus Borussia Mönchengladbach. This is a really hard game to call, amazingly enough, because both sides are, well, I mean, comparing Gladbach's form to Schalke is an amazing thing to even consider, given the fact that both teams are, potentially capable of. And any other week, you probably would say, oh, Gladbach by 3 or 4, maybe. But given what's going on at Gladbach, the mess that they are, really, it is really hard to call. But this is the sort of game that they surely got to win. So I feel like I'm repeating myself a little bit today, but I've gone for another fairly close one and saying 2-1 again to the away side. This would be good for your Ackers, definitely. Some away wins. But yeah, 2-1 to Gladbach, just about for me.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, while I do agree with you, Rory, on the fact that they're probably the 2 most off-form sides in the league at the moment. I think this is a clash between. I don't know what the German TV were thinking putting that game on TV, really. But I think, yeah. But at the same time, I still think if you look at performance level, I still think Gladbach are still way ahead. You know, they create chances, yet things just aren't going for them. It's not a case of them being absolutely abysmal. I mean, yes, it's an abysmal run of form, but they're still competing in games, you know. But I think, I mean, I don't need to say any more about Schalke. They are just an abysmal side. For me, arguably the worst side in Bundesliga history. And I don't see anything more than a comfortable 2-0 win for Gladbach, to be honest, even though they're very off form at the moment.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to bet against any other result, as you mentioned. Moving on to the Sunday. So again, we've got 3 games on Sunday to look forward to. Starting off early afternoon kickoff as Hoffenheim host Mainz. Again, I say implications for both teams. Certainly for the away side, Mainz, Hoffenheim have pretty much got themselves safe now because of their recent good form. So yeah, because of Hoffenheim being in good form and Mainz, trying to scrap for their lives to get out of that relegation zone, it's going to be a tight one. Obviously, Mainz need the points more, and they've showed plenty of character, especially some late goals have helped them of late. So I think they'll be able to get something from the game. I'm not going to back them to win though, so I'm going to say a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I think this is a tough one to predict because, I mean, in some ways you'd say this is a good fixture for the away side because, I mean, Hoffenheim are one of few teams who probably don't have anything to play for at the moment. Yeah. But I still think that Hoffenheim, they've got a lot to prove, and obviously the manager as well, Hoeneß, he's still fighting for his job to an extent. And I think the Dietmar Hopp will expect a top half finish still at the very least. I think the top half finish will be a case of it'd be a decent season, an okay season for them, and I think that will be their goal now. And I still think there's significantly more quality in this Hoffenheim side, and I've actually gone for a 2-1 home win despite Mainz's resurgence in recent weeks.
Yeah, not a problem. And the next game on Sunday, Hertha Berlin host by Leverkusen. So again, very interesting, I have to say. Again, I sound like a broken record with all these games saying they're interesting, but they genuinely are. So Hertha, of course, desperate for points, been completely dragged into this relegation race when they really shouldn't have. And Leverkusen are also kind of in free fall and are now in a battle to keep a hold of either Europa League football, or indeed if they've still got ambitions to sneak into the top 4, which they are just about still in. But if they don't start winning it, it's going to be looking unlikely. And as a result, because both teams are so desperate for results, and because of how suspect Leverkusen have been at the back, especially a bit of a goalkeeping crisis, not much confidence at the back. I think Hertha will smell that. And as a result, I'm saying 1-1 draw again.
Yeah, I think this is an opportunity for Hertha Berlin, actually. Yeah, I mean, they've had quite a few difficult fixtures of late. I mean, they did get the win against Augsburg a couple of weeks ago, but then back to losing ways against Dortmund over the weekend. I think a few weeks ago, you'd have said Leverkusen are bankers in this game, like especially before Christmas. But I think at the moment, I mean, this is a game of two sides who are now really underachieving this season, I would say. And I think both managers, even though Dade is relatively new into the job, he's not really done very well, let's be honest, at Hertha Berlin. And I think he could be coming under a bit of pressure if they don't start to pick up more wins soon. Yeah, I think for me, I've actually also gone for a 1-1 draw here. I would say that Leverkusen are the more likely winners because I think the pace from Diaby and the like will be very, very tough for this kind of slow back line of Hertha Berlin. I think if there is a winner, it'll be more likely Leverkusen. But I think, yeah, it could be one of those games that peters out to be a draw between two sides that probably would take a draw from this game, in all honesty.
Yeah, I think one thing might be crucial is if they get Leon Bailey back in the starting 11.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was suspended a few weeks ago, then on the bench. So he might get a start and he might be able to cause a few more problems. And so the last game of the weekend is between Sport Club Freiburg and SC Augsburg. So probably one of the few games that actually doesn't have an awful lot riding on it. So maybe not as interesting as some of the other ones. But nevertheless, Augsburg maybe won't necessarily feel they're ultimately completely safe. So they'll still be fighting to the death, and Freiburg will still be wanting to come up as high up the league as they possibly can do after a very good season. So it'll be a close game, actually. And just based on the fact that Augsburg have been picking up some good results, actually, and Freiburg have been fairly in different form, have actually gone for a 2-1 away win, which might surprise a few people. So, a bit of a 2-1 away shock win, perhaps, I'm saying.
Yeah, I think this one is a tough one to call. I sometimes wonder who works for these German TV companies, because I mean the televised games do seem a little bit strange at times in Germany, don't they? I mean, no disrespect for these two teams; they both had good seasons overall. But I think, as you say, this is probably the match with the least riding on it of any this weekend, and yet it's on the prime slot on a Sunday evening, So, yeah, but I think. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is like a free hit for both teams, really, I think, because I think both have achieved the goals for the season. I think if either of these teams win, they're really going to be kind of putting a very good season together, because a lot of people had Augsburg down as relegation favourites this year, to be honest, and they finished very, very comfortably. I mean, maybe they might still want one more win to be 200% certain of survival, so they will see this as a chance. But I think they could probably lose every game now and still stay up, in all honesty. So I think, but I've gone for a 1-1 draw. But I think I would agree with you that Augsburg are probably the more likely winners on current form, and I think they are finding ways at the moment, Augsburg, especially late on in games. They do push for that winner, and we could see potentially a late winner here for Augsburg. But I've gone for 1-1.
Yeah, very good. So that brings a close to obviously the 9 fixtures of Matchday 26. Hope you enjoyed our predictions. Obviously, see how you get on. If you're new to the channel or you're just stumbling across this, if you're new to Over the Bar at all, subscribe, of course, get involved, and then ping in your thoughts in the comment section below. Let us know how you think the games are going to go. Don't be afraid to just do the odds game if you want to predict a result of just your team or whatever. We welcome comments from everyone and everything, and we'll give you a shout out if obviously you do the best out of everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Obviously, keep an eye out for all the kind of new bits and bobs that we've got coming out. Me and Mark are working on a few extra bits that you'll be interested in. Keep an eye out for those. They'll be coming out very, very soon. Obviously, the Sud Derby as well. So, lots and lots to come. So over to Mark to quickly finish up.
Absolutely, yeah. So remember to check out our Twitter account as well, of course, at Over the Bar FB. So you can see everything football related on there. You can see our League One show, which is another regular weekly production by Over the Bar. You can also see a number of articles, also Bundesliga related articles as well, mostly written by Rory. Yeah, so check them out too. And also remember the otbfootball.net. So this is like the centerpiece of the site. So check that out. And you can find everything that's going on over the bar related. So another great show, guys. It was great for you to join us. And let's see who wins the predictions for week 26. All the best, guys.
Cheers all.